A lot of people have this question, what is the difference between futures and completable futures? Or put another way, what is the big deal about completable futures? So let's dive in with an example and implement this example both with futures and completable futures. Now, bear in mind that this example will highlight or exaggerate the drawbacks of using futures. But please note that futures do have their advantages, and think of completable futures as version 2.0 of futures. So completable futures will have all the features of futures plus a whole lot more. So this is a typical order processing example. It has three steps. First step is the order fetcher, which is a callable that returns an order number. Then we have the inventory checker that checks whether we have the inventory to serve the order. And then finally we have the payment acceptor callable that accepts payment if we indeed have inventory to fulfill the order. Otherwise it rejects the payment. Now notice an important thing here. These tasks are inherently sequential. That is, each task depends on completion of the previous stage result before it can get started. With that said, let's try and implement this example first with futures and then with completable futures. So here is the code for the order processing example. We first have the order fetcher, which is a callable, and it returns a number between 1 and 6. We have a sleep of 200 millis to simulate what goes on in the real world with network and DB calls and so forth. After that, we have the inventory checker callable that checks inventory and returns true or false based on the order number. For the sake of simplicity, we just have inventory for even orders in this case, 200 millis of sleep time here too. And finally, we have the payment acceptor that accepts payment for orders in which we have verified that we indeed have inventory to ship. Otherwise, it doesn't accept payment, and there is a sleep time of 200 millis here as well. Now, notice that these tasks inherently sequential, like I said. They have to be done one after another. The result of the first task become the input to the second, and as such determine the outcome of the second task. And finally we have main. So in main, what we do is submit these tasks after getting the results from the previous tasks, because we need to submit the values to the callable through the constructor. So let us run this program and see what happens. Now the result has come in fine, and it is an odd order, so the payment is not accepted, and the total time is more than 600 millis. So 200 millis for each of the three tasks and some additional warm up time. Now notice here that I have set the number of threads to 4, but the time taken for the task just adds up, and there is no advantage to using futures and multiple threads as such. In this case, the tasks are running one after another, so we aren't getting the performance advantage by using multiple threads. Now the problem becomes exaggerated when we have 10, 100 or 1000 orders simultaneously in the queue. So let's try and run that example as well. So this is the same example, it's just running for 10 orders in a loop, and let me try to run this. So if you notice, the total time is more than 6000 millis. So we are seeing that the time increases linearly with the number of orders, thus nullifying whatever advantage we thought we had with multi-threading. So what is going on here? So what is happening is that because we use future.get, we have to block main till we receive the return value for each stage of each order. And so main in effect becomes the bottleneck for each stage of each order. The other issue is that because of the way callables accept values through their constructor, we have to wait for the return values from the previous stage before even submitting the task for the current stage. And so this essentially becomes a sequential flow of tasks even if we configure and use multiple threads in executor service. And as you can see, this becomes more and more of a problem when you have more and more orders. There is almost no time savings advantage by using multiple threads because the next task cannot start in parallel till we have the result from the previous task. So the time taken to execute multiple orders grows linearly, thus completely nullifying the advantages of using multiple threads. Now, there can be clever ways of bypassing the issues by using is done, which pulls and still continues to do some work in main, or we can start all the order fetcher tasks first in parallel and then start all the stage 2 tasks next, and so on. However, these would have to be custom solutions, and programmers would often have to reinvent the wheel by having these workarounds or custom solutions when faced with this blocking nature of main and the callable idiosyncrasies. Now, in order to generically solve these two issues, we need to A, bypass main while returning values, and B, we need to have some mechanism for callables to behave like regular functions taking in arguments. And this is exactly how completable futures approach the solution. Now let us run the same program with completable futures. We will be running this for 10 orders. So let me run this program. So here actually we have to compare the difference between the end time and the start time. So end time is 27,187 and this is 24,762. So it's about 2500 millis, which is a big performance advantage over the roughly 6000 millis that we had seen with futures. So now let us break down the program and see how we got here. So with completable futures, we do not need to return to main after any of the stage completion. So there is no get or join here in this code. Instead, the result of one stage is passed to the next stage seamlessly without returning to main by using callbacks. And the function and the consumer functional interfaces make it much easier for stages to accept values so that we can have effective chaining of these functions. In other words, we do not need to wait for the previous stage to return in order to submit the tasks like we had to do with callables and futures. And so we can have order processing in parallel. Each individual order stage would definitely have to wait for completion of its previous stage. However, order 1 can proceed without dependence on order 2 and so on for the other orders. Also, we do not have to return to main to pass on the results for intermediate stages. And this in turn leads to the performance advantage that we have seen with reduced execution time. Apart from this, completable futures do have the following advantages. You can chain multiple completable futures together. You can manually complete completable futures. You can combine the result of multiple completable futures together without blocking. And it has an enhanced exception handling API. Now, the link to the code is in the description. And there is also a link to the complete Java 8 multi-threading course in the description.